You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Spirit Dimension with your host, Kerry Greenaway, right here on Parasearch Radio.
Good evening and welcome to the Spirit Dimension. My name is Kerry Greenaway, as you all know, on this Sunday evening, bank holiday Sunday evening, I would like to add. And in the studio at this moment in time, I have the lovely Clare Hinks. Good evening, Clare. How are you?
Good evening, Kerry. Flying by the seat of my pants, apparently.
Skype, as usual, is being a little bit of an idiot. So our lovely guest Lisa is having a few issues joining us, but I'm sure she'll work it out sooner or later.
It's okay though, because we're going to talk about, we're just going to chat to each other, and that you're all going to listen, and it's going to be fine.
It's going to be absolutely fine, as always. It always is.
Yes.
Now, tonight's discussion is all about self-responsibility in regards to your spiritual working. And where you draw the line and boundaries. And we've spoken many, many times about boundaries in regards to this fashion before. But we thought about self-responsibility. So where does the boundary stop and you start taking responsibility for your own actions and stop beating yourself up about stuff? So, you know, where do we go with this, Claire? Because this is quite an integral part of it, isn't it?
We've touched on self-responsibility before, haven't we? A few times, I think. Mm-hmm. It is quite a tricky one, I think. Wow, there's a bit of a line, isn't there, between self-responsibility and the law of attraction and being responsible and hoping things are going to happen, I guess. Do you know what I mean?
Totally, but
like wishing it to happen, but being responsible to make it happen.
Yeah, because there's a huge difference. Because beyond the wish, I want something to happen. I really, really want this to happen. And then you go, okay, so where's my responsibility in that? So I can do the work, I can use the tools, but is it responsible to do so? Are you thinking from an ego level or a higher self-thinking level, if that makes sense?
Well, probably I'm always higher self, aren't I?
Mm-mm.
So...
Not necessarily.
I lost you.
Oh,
Where did
God,
you go?
don't even start with that one. I've got enough issues as it is without losing me along the way. No, I mean, at the end of the day, right, what you want is sometimes not necessarily what's best for you.
True.
I see it all the time. So going back about 4 or 5 weeks on the last full moon, not this full moon, but because it's full moon tonight, everybody, just adding that in.
Yes.
Okay. So going back about 4 weeks on the last full moon, I had a client approach and she wanted me to do a ritual for her to manifest a specific intention. And I was like, okay, I need to know a few more details. And she was like, yeah. And by the end of the conversation, I was like, who is this person that you want? And she was like, oh, it's a footballer. I'm like, pardon? And she was like, yeah, it's this person. And I was like, okay. Do you know this person? Nah. Are you in the circle of this person? Nah. So you want me to do a manifestation ritual for you in regards to achieving a goal that you have no disrespect, but no real chance of achieving. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so where's your responsibility in that? And she was like, well, I just want him. And I was like, but you don't know him. You might not want him. If you knew him, he could be a horrible person. He could be so focused on his goal that he's not actually wanting what you want. You might not be his type. You know, there's a lot of things in that you go, self-responsibility. Are you being true to your authentic self, or is this a crush, or is this a, you know what I mean? So she's going, but I love him. No, you love a media image of him.
Yeah.
Right? You've got a crush on a public figure. I can't manifest that for you. No, the best will in the world, mate. I've been trying to manifest Channing Tatum to come knocking at my door for years. That hasn't happened. You know what I mean?
Okay, so there's a certain amount of reality, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a self-responsibility to yourself to keep your goals realistic, surely.
Yeah. I think there is. But in everything you read about the law of attraction and, you know, setting your intentions and manifesting, they tell you to be as adventurous as you possibly want to be. You know, if you want £10 million in the bank, put that on your wish list. If you want, what's his name? Amazing Mr. Footballer.
I'm not going to mention the name because the person will just know who I'm talking about straight away. And she'll kill me.
But, you know, they tell you to put those things on your wish list, you know, because at the end of the day, anything's possible.
I don't
disagree.
Know,
so
I don't disagree with that perspective. Yeah. I really, really don't disagree with that. But I do think there has to be a certain amount of realism. And, okay, so you want... let's take that as an example. You want that particular person. You kind of have to be in their spectrum, surely, to be able to manifest that.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you not have to put yourself out there to create the opportunities for the law of attraction to...
Possibly, but we all know that nothing's coincidental. Well, I know that nothing's coincidental. That's my saying, isn't it? Nothing's coincidental. Everything happens for a reason. And if you want something badly enough, I do believe that there's a certain amount of things, you know, steps happen to help you achieve things if you want them enough. Oh, I love this subject. It so intrigues me.
I know, it's a fascinating... Exactly. I mean, this follows on from the last time we spoke, yeah?
Yeah.
About law of attraction.
Yeah, it does, yeah. I love the idea. I've been doing a lot of this lately, like goal setting, manifesting, setting intention. And it really... Like, I've come to realise that it just really interests me, the whole idea of being able to manifest whatever you want in your life. I do believe that anything's possible. And I think if with the right train of thought, then you can attract, you know, your life is what you think, isn't it? So if you've got a lot of negativity going on, you're only going to see the negativity in your life. Whereas if you're a bit more positive and upbeat, you're going to see more of a positive upbeat.
I don't disagree with that, but I do also think that you have a certain amount of responsibility to yourself to be realistic. I mean, like I say, that I use the Channing Tatum analogy quite an awful lot. He lives in America, I live in the UK. You know, if I'm going to try and manifest something, then let's do something that's within my spectrum. If I want a specific job or a specific goal for myself, and that's not going against anybody else's free will. Bearing in mind, Channing Tatum has his own free will. Yeah.
What's it called? Channing Tatum?
Channing Tatum. He was XXL, you know.
Oh, okay.
Mate, seriously, if you've not seen that film, then you need to check that one out. Then you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Apparently, I'm
Magic Mike.
naive.
If I said Magic Mike to you, would that mean something?
A little bit.
Yeah. See, yeah. So I use this analogy quite a lot. You have to be realistic. I mean, at the end of the day, I can manifest Channing Tatum all I like, but if I don't make those opportunities to meet or, be involved in that, well, I mean, come on, let's be realistic.
I think you're right. I think
Number one,
think
he's
you
married.
Need to have.
Number two, he's in America. Number three, he's an awesome dancer and in a completely different world to the world I live in. Number four, he ain't going to come knocking at my door on the off chance of a cup of tea, is he? You know what I mean? Let's be honest. You kind of have to be.
Yeah.
There's a self-responsibility there to be realistic, surely.
I think you do. Yes. It's good to dream, isn't it? It's good to dream. It's good to have dreams. And it's but you do need to be a little bit realistic in your, what's potentially possible.
Yes.
Like I want to move house. That's more realistic than meeting your guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or a financial bonus,
or a bonus, or a new job, or a new love in regards to general love, not a specific person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You open those doors and you manifest that, and you know what you want, and you can. There's your self-responsibility. That's you go. Okay, so for me, no matter what the public image is of a said person or situation, let's be realistic about it. Can I do the job? Can I drive that car? You know what I mean? In all reality, I mean, I could get a Bugatti or whatever car it is, but could I actually drive that car? Do you know what I mean? In all reality, would I want to be driving that down the A127 or whatever road it is that's in your area? Let's be realistic. But I want a new car, so I go, okay, so I really want a new car. I really like the colour blue. I really want an automatic. And then all of a sudden the perfect blue automatic car comes in your spectrum. That's a realistic expectation. Whereas Channing Tatum knocking on your door for a cup of tea is an unrealistic expectation.
Yeah, but why is it? Because you draw people and experiences into your life through your energetic changes and stuff.
I don't
disagree. And your focus. So who's to say that you won't, that somewhere along the line there isn't a connection, just because you're in the UK and he's God knows where on the other side of the world? Who's not to say that there's something will sink you in some way or other, whether it's an email or just a random connection, or it might be a series of events that leads to it. Do you see what I mean? That could be, is that caused by your thought process?
Possibly. You could be. Okay, so this is where we talk about raising your vibration into what you can manifest and the blocks you put on in regards to manifestation. Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, where am I going with this?
So we do block it. We do block manifestation, don't we? Because we have personal blocks. We have dreams, but then we don't always know how to get the blocks out of the way. When we spoke before and we had Helen Strong on the show, she was talking about our paradigms, wasn't she? And our thought, how we get stuck in a process. Like changing our thought pattern.
Yes, very much so.
And
I
do
think
of an example, and I can't.
No, I know, but I do agree with that. So you go, so my life is changing. I need to change my life because this isn't working, right? You'll have to excuse the background noise. I have people round, I would just like to add. And them being very noisy in the other room. They're having fun. Well, I'm having fun too. But how dare they have fun without me? But I'm having fun too. But no, right, okay, so you have a life change. Your life is changing. And we all go through this where something all of a sudden doesn't work for the circumstance you're in. And so you go, okay, so that's not working. So I need to change my life. And I'm not resonating now at this. I need to change. So you go, okay, now this isn't an overnight process. This is a change. So you work through it. You go, okay, so I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do the other. So they're your goals, first off. Right? So I need a new car because my car keeps breaking down. I need a new house because we've outgrown the house. I need a new job because I need more money, or a new challenge, or something that's more resonating with my soul rather than a day-to-day mundane job. Whatever, you recognise that.
I'll tell you.
Claire?
There's gremlins on the line. I keep getting only bits of what you're saying.
Oh, for God's sakes. Okay.
I know.
It's
okay, just keep talking. It's fine. I'm picking up bits.
So you go through these times where you've got these changes that you recognise. You go, okay, so that's changing. That's fine. Maybe you don't like it. You might fight it initially, but you go, okay, so that's fine. These changes are happening. So where can you take that responsibility for yourself in regards to the changes? First of all, you don't fear the change. You recognise the change and you embrace it and you go, okay, so I don't like it, but this is going to lead on to something better. Right?
Yeah.
Secondly, you then go, what can I do to affiliate an easier transition? Right?
Yeah.
Thirdly, you go, okay, what do I think about this? What do I feel about this?
Breaking it down.
You break it down into manageable chunks, which takes the anxiety, the fear out of it. And when you start taking anxiety and fear out of a situation, you start going into your intuition, which is what leads you, in all honesty.
And I've been reading something that says about taking responsibility for your law of attraction, right? Mm-hmm. Every thought you think, every feeling you feel, every action you take, and every outcome you receive is your responsibility. These are your responsibilities, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Which is easy, really, isn't it? When you think about it like that.
Yeah, but some of the easiest concepts are some of the hardest concepts to put into practice.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I mean, that's what I found. I said some of the easiest concepts are it's all within you to manifest that change. It's whether or not you're prepared to do the work and, go forward and take responsibility for your actions. We all act sometimes in a way that we're not proud of. We all do that knee-jerk emotional reaction. Yeah?
Mm. Yeah.
But that knee-jerk reaction doesn't always help us in regards to it's the initial reaction. Rather than something happening and stepping back before we react, 9 times out of 10 we'll react before we step back.
It's the first 3 seconds, isn't it? They say.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The first 3 seconds when is your intuition. So, for instance,
what's your gut reaction?
I'm going on a yes, I want to go, and then your paradigm. So I want to go, and then you start to think, oh, but who will have the kids? Oh, how am I going to get there? Oh, these other things suddenly start cropping up, dropping in to stop you, because those are the things that are reality, and they're the things that kind of make you think that you can't do it, and then that these things aren't possible because other things get in the way because you allow them to get in the way.
Yeah? You allow them to get in the way.
So those are, to some people, those things are reality, which they are, because that's your responsibilities in your life get in the way of things, don't they? Because they stop you doing things. But you think about You think about it, if you break it down a little bit, anything's possible. So actually, oh yes, I really want to go. Oh no, who's going to have the kids? Who's going to pay for that? Who's going to cover me at work? Well, actually, I'm sure somebody will have. I'll find so and so and so to have the kid.
Yeah. Rather than seeing it as a block, I can't because the kids.
Yeah,
I can't because of this.
See
it as
a little challenge.
A challenge.
Right, I'll see if so and so can sort it out.
Yeah. See, okay, so I've got a situation with the children.
Losing you, Kerry.
No, mate, seriously, not
I can't
now.
hear a word just
We can't get Lisa in. I've got Gremlins with Claire. We're having a bit of a mare tonight, everybody. I was just, and my tech
there are
is
gremlins on the
gremlins.
line.
My tech is in and out.
I really can't hear you at all.
I know my gremlins are.
No. Hello. Oh my god, I can hear you now.
I'm still here.
Okay,
seriously.
so you just chat to yourself, and I'll just
talk for an hour. Yeah, I'll just talk for an hour. So basically, we get a situation that comes up, and we go, "Oh my god, I've got so many issues. I can't move forward on this." No, actually, you can, because break it down. You go, okay, so the kids. Number one, for example, the kids. That's okay. I'll check out the local childcare arrangements, or I'll ask my friend, or I'll talk to my parents, or I'll, whatever it be. Okay, travel. Okay, so the car's broken down. That's a block.
Or I'll see if there's a bus, or I'll see if there's someone going.
Yes.
That can go with me.
There are other opportunities. It will open up other doors. When one when one door closes, another door opens. And, but you have to embrace that open. And that's the responsibility you have to yourself. If you want it badly,
exactly. I'm starting to understand that. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
I'm starting to understand.
Can't hear me.
The law of attraction is just about the way that you think and how you view things. That's what it is.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's simple, really. You can create exactly what you want around you if you view it in a different way to how you're viewing it now.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I've just put my whole world to rights.
Well, I think we put the whole world to rights just there and then. It's all down to you.
Yeah.
I shared I love to call them memes. I know they're memes, but I go with the old meme, right?
Okay.
And it said, like, everything you're searching for is within yourself. And that's so true, because only you can block yourself. And whether that's come from a belief system or a past experience or something that has occurred that's made you fearful of that scenario, you go, okay, so that happened before, maybe 2 or 3 times. But then you go, okay, so let's look at so that's happened 2 or 3 times. So now I won't embrace it, because the last 2 or 3 times I embraced it, something crap happened. How did I deal with that before? Where is my responsibility in that situation as to why I now won't re-embrace that? Right?
Yes. Yeah, I heard, most of it.
Oh, God, this is a nightmare. Oh, my God.
It's just about how you view it, isn't it?
I think
and you have a responsibility to yourself to view things as positively as you can in your life.
Just because you've had a bad experience before, examine your own reactions to how you dealt with that. Why was that so bad? Did you allow that to become a bad situation, or did you go, what can I do to change this into a positive? And
we're all guilty. We're all guilty of doing that, aren't we? Like, I'm feeling just pants about it. Like, I can't fix it. I don't know how to. This is the worst thing ever. Yeah. We're all guilty of that. Of wallowing in that.
Oh God, yeah.
So it's just about when you hit that realization. Actually, what am I doing? Why am I? I can be so much more positive than this, and bringing it to you. Bringing that positive to you. And changing your thought pattern, that's all it is.
Changing how you view it.
Yeah, exactly.
There are so many
things out there. You can, there's so much stuff on YouTube, and there are so many people talking about it. It seems to be like a really, everywhere I look at the moment, I see the law of attraction and, manifesting in you and your thought processes. And oh my God, there's so many people talking about it.
There is.
All over the internet.
Do you not think they overcomplicate it?
Some people do. Other people don't. I don't think Lisa overcomplicates it. She's not on the show.
I'm really hoping Lisa is going to be able to join us because she's having a few issues. She's having issues with her Skype, which is the major issue because she is an authority on this rather than me and Claire, clearly, because we're battling quite a bit. But let me tell you about something that happened recently to me, right? The World Cup, right? It's been on recently.
Yeah.
I have a major issue with football because of 2 previous partner experiences with the football thing, right? Mm-hmm. And because the men in my life were complete addicts, should we say, to the football thing. And they didn't react particularly well when their team lost or, and they reflected that onto me or deflected that onto me. Because then it became a problem in the relationship because their team lost and it became an issue. Right, so I go, okay, I'm never going to watch football again. Right, so this year I'm single. A World Cup is on. And I have a few girly mates that were like, I want to watch the football. And I'm like, no, because every time I watch football, it's never been a good experience for me. And they're like, shut the hell up. We're going to do it. We're going to watch this football. If you want to be part of that experience, then you've got to suck it up, girl, and get on with it. So I was like, for God's sakes, fine. So I ended up watching some of the World Cup, which I never thought I would do. And I ended up a couple of occasions where everybody came around my house and I fed and watered and we had the World Cup on the TV. And I really enjoyed it. In a way I've never before enjoyed it. And it was almost like football doesn't have to be like that because I've had those 2 ex-partners that were like that. That doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be like that. But my mindset changed. It wasn't a group of men being arseholes because the team lost or whatever. It was me and my friends watching the World Cup, having a good time and enjoying world-class football in a way that hadn't been done before. And it was my mindset that changed about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you begin to realise, it's not as bad as I thought.
You know what I mean?
And it's only what went with it that left you with a sour taste, wasn't it? That made you think, because there were other situations and circumstances attached to it. It's a paradigm.
Exactly, but those past experiences created that block within myself to not want to embrace a sport that the country embraces, you know what I mean? And a lot of people embrace. And, I ended up finding myself becoming an armchair expert, shall I say, on the sport, because my past experiences actually taught me more than I thought I knew about that sport. So I was able to talk in a way that, all right, maybe not as educated as some people about the sport, but I realised I wasn't a complete div in regards to that particular sport. Yeah. And
whereas you before didn't have the interest and didn't want the interest, and then because you let yourself move through the block,
exactly,
you then enjoyed it and you received stuff from it.
Exactly, I received a lot from that. I had a really good times with my friends over that time. I met some amazing people, whilst out and about to do with the World Cup. I found that I knew more. So that's a positive. I realised that I had learnt more than I thought I had learned about that particular sport. I realised I actually didn't mind watching the football thing. Yeah. As long as it was done in the way it was done when I was doing it. It wasn't actually about the sport in particular, which is what I had blamed it on. It was actually about how people reacted to that and how I reacted to the people who was reacting to that, if that makes sense.
Yes, Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So
it also had it was also who you had around you as well.
So there's that responsibility to
and
self.
And that also makes a difference, doesn't it? Because, you the people that are around you and the people that are part of your circle and your energy and, what was I just saying to you about we invite, our energies change and we're responsible for the people that are around us. And we're responsible for our friendship groups and the people that are in our lives because
if it's not serving a purpose.
We invite them to be there, don't we? We invite them to be there and we get used to their company and we get used to their energy, but we don't always realise when those people aren't actually being that good for us.
Yes,
so
totally.
we don't notice always when the energy changes until we start to feel really crappy about it.
And there's a responsibility to yourself to address that situation and go, this is making me feel crappy. So why is it now making me feel crappy when you used to make me feel so good? You know what I mean? Why?
And I'm not just talking about relationships, any relationship. Friends,
family, friends, personal relationships,
partners,
any form of work relationships, even. If it's starting to make you feel crappy and you dread the situation, whether it, whatever situation it is you have to go into, why? Why is that? So there's a responsibility to self to go, okay, so is this a block? Or not a block, is this an internal issue because they're making me feel worthless? Why are they making me feel worthless? Is it because I feel worthless because I've come across this before? Is this because they're saying things that makes me feel worthless? Therefore, I have to address this. But you have to be clear on what the problem is before you can address it. And when you address it, you don't have to be aggressive. You can go, please don't say that. That makes me feel worthless.
Yeah.
Or that doesn't make me feel good. I mean, I had a friend recently who said about my weight. I'm very thin at the moment, and I get thin because of my anxiety. And it kept being brought up, and I ended up saying, no, stop saying that. Because the more you say it, makes me more anxious. The more anxious I get, the more weight I will lose. So please don't focus on my weight. I can't help my weight. I can help my anxiety. And you're actually highlighting my anxiety, which is causing a detrimental effect to my weight. So can you please stop doing it? I wasn't aggressive. It was actually done very jokingly. And it resolved that issue between me and that person.
Yeah. Yeah, because you understood it. You understood how it was making you feel. You were able to explain it. Mm-hmm. And it changed the vibe. If you hadn't been and you'd put your barrier up and gone, oh, they just don't understand, and and you've got upset about it and everything else that goes with that, the frustration and then the anger and then they don't understand me, and then you get cross with yourself but you don't speak it, then those things turn into emotion and they stay in you. I always talk to people a lot when I'm doing readings about the emotion and how it stays in your solar plexus. It's in that area. If you don't let it out, it's in there. It's dis-ease, and it affects you, and it affects your energy, and it affects your thoughts as well, because thoughts are energy, and it's all connected.
I totally agree with that. Be honest with yourself. That's the responsibility you have to yourself, is to be honest with yourself. If it doesn't serve your purpose any longer, whoever that is or whatever that situation is, first steps is recognising that.
Yeah. And those are the hardest steps sometimes, Yeah. It's hard to be honest with yourself, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Especially in, sensitive situations.
Or emotionally driven situations.
Yeah.
If you're tied in emotionally, you want something to work so much. And sometimes that's not always self-serving. And self-serving, it's such a socially driven expectation, because selfishness is not accepted. You can't be selfish. You have to give. If you have a gift, give it. you know, again, we see, you know, no.
I'm giving it.
I have to live too. You know what I mean? And then it goes down to self-worth. If you're giving all the time but not receiving, then what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, you just have to keep ploughing on with it, don't you? You just have to use it or lose it.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely have to use it. Otherwise you do lose it. God.
We've established that part.
I think we have.
It's okay. We're alone in the chat room. I don't think anyone's listening anymore.
No, I don't think anyone's with us tonight. But it's okay. It's a bank holiday weekend. We kind of expected this.
And I was just thinking, actually, about how we're talking about the law of attraction and how Lisa's supposed to be on the show.
I
talking
know.
to us.
She is having so many issues. I would just like to add.
But I would just like to ask, why is that? Everything happens for a reason. So maybe she needs to be elsewhere, or maybe we need to be having this conversation so that we understand more. Because sometimes when you talk it out more between yourselves, you understand it differently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I'm reading a book called The Intention Experiment at the moment, and it's focused on intent. And I've always said this: your intention is key in any form of work you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start with your intention. My intention is I would like to send healing to somebody else. I'd like more money. I'd like my kids to be okay. I'd like this situation to be resolved. Whatever the intention is, right? Oh, God. I'm hoping this will add Lisa to the call. Oh, she's not coming in, God damn it. Lisa, you're part of the group call. Just to add yourself to the call. Because if I add that call, then she won't come in, and it's not. Anyway, intention is the start to it all. And where was I going with that thought pattern? Lisa? Lisa, are you with us? Hello? No!
You were talking about the intention experiment.
Okay, so I'm reading a book called The Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart, and it all starts with the intention, and it is a fascinating study of how a collective can affect an outcome. And this is a study that's been done. It's being looked at by scientists and stuff like that, and it's incredibly fascinating in regards to a global experiment with everybody focused on a specific intention to see if we can affect an outcome. And when you start looking at it in those terms, you go, there must be something to this because the results are speaking for themselves. When you start looking at it from a personal basis and you do a specific intention ritual, as long as it's not affecting the free will of anybody, then the outcome is astonishing. Quite frankly, I asked for a sign 4 weeks ago. I asked for a hummingbird.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Because I'd made a lot of changes in my life. Willingly, they needed to be done, and I recognised that. So I made a lot of changes. So I then asked the universe for a sign that I was doing the right thing. Now, I live in the UK. We don't have hummingbirds, do we, Claire? Claire.
Hello.
Claire.
I can hear you now.
Claire.
Hi on.
Oh, God.
Is that Lisa in?
Hello.
Oh, hell yeah. Lisa is finally in the room. Oh, my God.
What weirdo stuff was going on there, but I'm here.
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Hello, how are you? I'm
good.
So, I can't apologise more, but I don't blame myself. I blame the bloody technology and internet. So
I agree with you, Lisa. I think the internet is being a bugger at the moment, or the Skype is being a bugger.
It is a bit. So whoever created Skype, sort it out, please.
Yeah, because they've updated recently and it's become a bit more difficult than it used to be.
Yes, it has. But anyway, I'm back. How are you all?
We're absolutely
okay.
fine. Yeah, we're so glad you're here.
Fill me in now. Go on.
Right, so we're talking about self-responsibility and how you need to take responsibility for the actions you take in regards to manifesting what you want in this life, and being realistic in your goals and aspirations, as much as being responsible for how you react to certain things that come to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's really to do with also when you're manifesting or you're in the creation mode, which we always are. We're always constantly in creation mode. So whether you're aware of it or not, you're launching these rockets of creation, creating your reality in the present time. So, yes, of course you're responsible, but a lot of us are not aware of those rockets that we're launching. So you're launching these rockets of desires, and your imagination and creativity is working. And again, like I said, it's whether you're aware of it or not. But then something happens maybe that you're not expecting. And it's about really focusing on and being more specific on what you're actually wanting to manifest. Writing it down holds a vibration. So it's good to really get into a position where you break it down into chunks. So let's say you have a goal and you set that up for yourself. Let's say in 6 months' time you want to earn a certain amount of money. Well, how are you going to get to, let's say it's £1 million, and I know that might be a big number for some, but for others it's just having a goal. You know, let's say we're connected to money, or even connecting it to love. So let's say you want to find the man of your dreams. It's breaking it down into chunks, going backwards basically, and then being responsible for all the actions that you're taking along the way, and not attaching yourself to the outcomes that do happen along the way as well. So it's hard to really, unless you break it down actually into smaller chunks and take responsibility, because obviously you're manifesting, you're responsible for your reality. It's being aware of those things that happen to you in that time frame between now and that 6 month period, as to how you're going to, get to that point, that goal, or that outcome that you're wanting to get to. But there is a process to it, and I've read a most wonderful book actually on holiday. I've just come back from holiday, and it's called The Power of Your Spoken Word, and how to use affirmations as well, and how to chunk down what you're wanting basically, and you put it like in a diary type, a gratitude diary plus also an affirmation diary as to where you want to get to, and then you sort of tick them off as you go along. You tick this off and you put it in like a goal setting sequence, and then but again it's you just check in with it every now and then. You don't hinge your happiness on that happening, because you wait for the universe to deliver what it's going to deliver to you. And again, vibrationally, you need to be in alignment to it. So there's a lot that happens with the responsibilities of what we want to manifest. But yeah, anything, whether it's wrong or right, towards you, you basically, the universe doesn't distinguish between what you're sending out, whether it be wrong or right for you. It doesn't distinguish between that. So yes, you are absolutely responsible for everything that you manifest, whether it be right for you or wrong for you. But I'm a big believer, and in my opinion, that whatever you do manifest, you are learning from it, whether it be good for you or bad for you. So it's observing what it's teaching you as well, and what you're going to learn and grow from that. So everything that is manifested from you, yes, you are responsible, but at the same time, it's asking, rather than being a victim of it, or attaching yourself to the outcomes of it, it's actually saying, right, what am I getting from this? And if you're trying something new for the first time, it's again, you've just got to have an open mind. Just be open, I think, and although yes, take responsibility, but still be open at the same time. But don't hinge any outcomes or your happiness or your, I'm not saying not to be positive. Be positive with what you're going to get, because again, vibrationally, you're going to match what you're going to manifest. if you're not a vibrational match to what you're going to manifest, then a lot of the time we go, well, I didn't want that, so therefore, well, how am I responsible? Because this is not what I asked for. But a lot of the time we're not in touch with our feelings and emotions, which is the indicator of where we are vibrationally anyway to manifest. So it's all part and parcel of the key to the law of attraction, basically, isn't it?
Well, they say be careful what you wish for, don't they?
Absolutely. And I also agree with, and must say that, what, in my opinion, what the universe sends you, you can handle as well. So whatever you're meant to be getting, you are getting, because it's teaching you something. You are not going to be sent something that you're not going to be able to handle either. So
everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, however big, drastic, or terrible it could be, you're going to be able to handle it. It's going to basically make you grow in some way. Whether straight away you won't recognise that, obviously, you might again feel like you're being a victim. But a lot of us that act like victims towards the things that we manifest, or the things that we get that have been created by ourselves, we don't take responsibility for, because we can't imagine that happening, something so drastic, something so terrible. And it's like, the hard facts are that you are responsible, and that's the truth, basically. If you blame others for what's going on in your life, then you're not ever going to grow from it, are you? You're never going to actually say, well, you're going to keep manifesting the same things over and over, because you're not actually going to grow from that particular lesson, or what you need to learn from, or observe what you're observing, and say, well, actually, this is my fault because this happened. Because we are only, each of us, one of us, are responsible for our own lives, and obviously whatever decisions you make in your life, or choices that you make, does affect other people, and you have to be mindful of that as well. But if it's going to benefit people, then the universe is going to work with you on a much, much higher scale, and vibrationally you're going to match with something. If it's going to help people, others, then you're more likely to get more help from the universe, and vibrationally be in alignment, rather than if this is not going to really help others, and it's going to really put a big problem a spanner in the works, but it's going to help you maybe move the dial slightly towards what you're, then you're going to find a struggle. And again, the universe will always send you stuff that you can handle, and if you don't take responsibility for it, then it will keep coming up for you. It will keep manifesting, and you'll keep having those struggles, either with relationships with others, or you'll have problems with money, you'll have problems with your health, everything, because we are all responsible for ourselves. What you put in your mouth, for example, if we're going to go by what you eat in your life, you are responsible. No one's told you to put that chocolate or that cake into your mouth, only you. You're in control. And again, it's the same with what we manifest. It's the same with how we live our lives, because you have choices to make, and you have that responsibility, and it's taking that responsibility on, saying, look, I make the choices in my life, and I am responsible for the choices, because you've made that choice.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree with that. And it's how you think about those choices that you make. And if you want to follow the same old patterns in because of previous experience, then carry on, but don't expect an outcome to change.
No, absolutely. And I think also the way we can change our responsibilities is by really taking on board things that, and again, this makes us grow more, is actually looking at ourselves at each sort of measuring ourselves at each point and going, right, I've manifested this, and this is why this has happened. Not, again, putting blame. Once you start to put blame, or you start to involve others for your mishaps or for your problems in your life or whatever, then what you do is you're lowering your vibration. You're completely at the bottom vibrationally on the scale of consciousness, and you're not really going to manifest anything else other than what you're going to manifest. So again, it becomes a struggle, and unless you really look at that, right, why am I struggling, and you can get the answers and the help from the universe anytime you like. You just got to be open to it. And I think a lot of us we're not open to it. You know, we don't think, oh, the universe is, there is a higher power, you know, and it's believing in that, and it's, you know, having faith and knowing that there is a much higher power, infinite higher power, that is working consistently all the time for us. But we don't trust it. We don't get exposed to it because we are very distracted in our lives with what other people are doing in their lives. You know, again, that's also why we don't take responsibility for our own things that happen to us, because we're so distracted as well by what's going on over there, you know, with somebody else.
Yeah.
That also could be a big factor as to why we don't take responsibility. But, you know, and it gets very diluted, everything, you know, and energy does, as you know. Energy does, and it's all to do with energy as well at the end of the day.
Or does it get fragmented? Is because you're looking at a situation and you're going, okay, so this crap situation has happened, but so-and-so did that, and so-and-so did this, and so-and-so did that. And you go, well, hang on. So how can I react to that to make it a different situation? And that's where your responsibility comes in. It's not about what they do or the circumstance that's hit you. You go, okay, so that crap has happened. So what can I do to turn this into a positive? What can I do to make this a better than out of any crap situation? No matter how bad it is, there's a positive there, and you have to find it.
Out of darkness, there's always light. Out of negativity, there's always positivity. Out of anything that is, you know, coming towards you in a bad way, there's always something good. You know, I always believe that there's a polarity in the universe that operates as well. And that's the polarity. We have to understand and know that we have to actually receive the negatives. We have to understand that there is an alternative route, because otherwise things would just be la-da-da fantastic, and there'll be no up and down, there'll be no ebb and flow, and we won't learn. Our souls are here to learn. Our souls are here to grow. We don't grow from things going right. We don't. We might feel wonderful, and that's wonderful, but we need to understand the measurement from something that's gone wrong to something that's gone right. And it's measuring that, and it's being, again, it comes under gratefulness. It comes under being thankful for what we have got, whether it's good or bad that's been sent to us. Again, responsibility, whether it's good or bad, you've manifested. You're responsible, and it's understanding that on a higher level, on a more relevant level, so that it's, what is it here to teach me? And yes, turn it around. You can turn a vibration around at any point in a split second, you know, and there are so many ways of doing that as well. You know, you might find someone will come in, start, I don't know, blaming you for something, and you think, hold on, they've just come in from maybe being all day out at work. They've come in, they've had a go at you, and you're thinking, well, hold on, I haven't seen them all day. Why am I getting the blame? And, you know, we tend to, unfortunately, what happens, again, we tend to take on things and then we blame others for our moods, our emotions, our feelings towards something which we're not actually arguing or blaming that other someone for the actual things that are actually going on a much deeper level. We're actually just really touching the surface, and we're not really going within ourselves to find out, actually, why do I feel like this? Why am I blaming that other person? Again, it's got nothing to do with them. The reason why you had a crap day has got nothing to do with the person that you've come home to, that you're blaming. But again, it comes down to that taking responsibility and being able to look on the positive side of things when they do go wrong, and turning them around and looking at them in a much more positive way, in saying, right, well, what is this to teach me? Why has this gone wrong again? How can I do it differently next time?
Yeah. Claire?
I just get so sucked into Lisa. I love listening to you talk. I just love it because I just completely resonate with everything that you say, and it just, you know, Kerry. I was just thinking how Kerry and I were, you know, batting backwards and forwards talking about all this stuff before you came on.
But you put it in a much better way, don't you, Lisa?
When you start talking, I'm just like, oh, that's it. That's exactly what we meant.
No, I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. I can't necessarily formulate it in the way that Lisa does, but it's what we're getting at on a very base level is that reconnect you. No, okay. So you blame something else for why that happened, but rather
but
than
we
look
are
at
responsible, completely responsible, aren't we?
Yeah, completely responsible.
We are responsible
And
because we do, regardless of how you attract it, you're still responsible for it.
Right, because it's the choices that you've made. It all boils down to the choices. You have a choice. You either have a choice to be the bad one, or you either have a choice to be the good one. Now, I'm not saying to let people walk all over you because of that, because obviously you can say, well, actually, you know, I'm just saying it's about really letting go, again, of detachment also to the things that we are creating in our lives, and not, yes, taking responsibility, but don't take it too seriously. Again, what doesn't matter 5 minutes in 5 years is not going to matter now. You know, it'll be past in 5 minutes' time. So it's like, well, hold on a second. What's the point in harping on, or, again, building up a big sort of energy around that? Because, again, when we think about the past, or when we bring up things that we haven't yet maybe learnt from, and we tend to bring them up again because we might manifest them again, and we'll experience them in maybe slightly different ways.
Oh, God,
but it's coming up for us. And then we go, why has that come up again? And then and it's like Groundhog Day. It's no different to having a Groundhog Day. You're manifesting something because you haven't quite, in the deepest part of you, healed in that area. You haven't quite grasped responsibility in that area and said, actually, if I do this differently now, then you change a different pathway. You immediately change the vibration. You immediately start to change your direction of where you're going into.
Totally.
And just being aware, and it's all about awareness. It's all about having that balance of being aware of what you're doing, being aware of your spoken word. You know, like I said, I was sitting on, I was on holiday, and the power of your spoken word is so true about how you manifest in your life, and that's with everything. And like I say, it's about actually being aware of what you're saying, not only to yourself, but also what you're writing, and also what you're saying to others, because a lot of what you're saying to yourself has a massive effect on how you live your life. And what you say to yourself, you're responsible for. And that's where it starts. It starts all with the self. It starts all with how you are treating yourself. And that's why you are responsible for everything you manifest. You're responsible for your life. You're responsible for your health. You're responsible for how you live your life, because you blame others for what's going on in your life. They didn't force you to put that cake in your mouth, or they didn't force you to go on that, to choose that particular colour of sofa. I mean, it could be many things. You know, it's so vast, isn't it? So
yeah.
It's really just literally just being aware of the responsibility that you do have, and that you have.
And little decisions lead to other decisions, don't they? And so then you're always responsible, because you're constantly making choices that lead you to where you are now.
Well, you're constantly launching rockets. You're constantly launching desires and things, and non-desires as well. Things that, without you realising, sometimes you are. And it's like I say, it's being aware really of. It's like if you're in the middle of an argument with somebody, and then all of a sudden you stop and go, do you know what? Whatever I say, just, you know, they're speaking, you're speaking, or shouting, or whatever, and you're both not hearing each other. So what's the point? Mm-hmm. You know, and again, you then start to get to a point in your life, I think you think, whatever I'm going to say to this person, they're not going to really understand. They're not on the same level as where I am. And that doesn't mean that they're higher or lower than you. It just means that you're just not on the same page. So trying to get your point across, is there any point sometimes in arguing about that? It's you know, I think I've been married for like 20 years now, and it's amazing actually how my husband and I, over the last probably, I'd say 5 years, we don't really argue anymore. Because otherwise you don't hear each other. You know, you don't hear each other.
Yeah.
And it's about really accepting each other. And again, this is all to do with taking responsibility for what you're accepting of that other person. And this manifests in relationships, in money, in health, in friendships, in all areas of our lives, spiritually as well. What you're taking on, what you're responsible for. And I think it's to do with, again, how you are with yourself. How do you speak to yourself? If you're not going to speak to yourself in a nice, kind way, then how do you expect others to also speak to you in that nice, kind way? What you're emanating as well, you're responsible for. What you're emanating out there, you are responsible for. What you are, you attract. So therefore, why are you blaming others for how you are?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't believe that we're coming to the end of the show. Oh my God, Lisa. We could listen to you all night, but we have actually come to the end of the show.
I know. Sorry about the long wait. I hope it was worth it.
Oh, totally worth it. And as always, Lisa, you are a regular on Parasearch Radio, so you will definitely be back on. And I'm sure this conversation will re-continue, I'm sure. On that note, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to end the show, to be fair, because I just want to carry on. But self-responsibility is an incredible part of manifestation work, and recognising that and working through those blocks you put in for yourself is a huge part of that. Now, guys, don't forget I go live on the Parasearch Radio Facebook group page at some point tomorrow, usually around 5 p.m-ish. So tune in for that, for the roundup of the following week's shows. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining me tonight. It's been an absolute blast, as always.
Thank you, Kerry and Claire. It's been. I know it's been short tonight, but it's been good.
It has been good.
At least I made it in the end anyway. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
again, I was blaming the network. Maybe it was myself that didn't actually understand how the technology works.
It's because everything's updated recently, and it's been an absolute arse in trying to understand it, to be fair. Lisa will definitely be back on with myself and Claire very, very shortly. In fact, I'm going to rebook her in because we love Lisa, because she's awesome. And me and Claire always get so much validation and
we do. We get so much
from
you, Lisa.
I enjoy coming on with you and chatting.
Yeah, really definitely. Right, now, Lisa, before we disappear, you have the Hunch Club.
We're going to launch again in October. We're gearing up for it now, and therefore it gives people an opportunity to come in and get some really amazing tools, empowerment, and a goal setting, intentions. There's so much in there that can help people to manifest the life that they're wanting. You'll get to learn about intuition a little bit more, how to use it. We're all about, intuition and connecting with your higher self. So if anybody is interested, it's non-expensive. It's like £33 a month it works out. And basically you will get a great deal of support in that as well. There'll be a Facebook private group. There is much, much more. We'll put the links at the bottom if you like to put your name on a waiting list. We're not opening our doors until October though, and that will be the beginning of October. And we'll probably come online again just to let you know how things are going with that as well. But it's very exciting, and we're really, really wanting to help others to connect with their intuition on a much deeper level so they can live the lives that they want.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
That's absolutely brilliant. If you want to work with Lisa, on a one-on-one basis, she is able to do that as well. So, Lisa, tell us your website.
Right, it's at lisalifecoach.com. It's at lisalifecoach.com. So, again, I think you've got my details also in a link, so you can link up with me, send me an email. I'm very responsive. I also do what's called spiritual response therapy, which helps you to remove energy blocks. I do transcendental energy removal, so anything that's in your way that you're wanting to handle and deal with, I do as well. So again, have a little look around, and any questions you have, as I said, I'm very responsive. Just shoot away.
And Claire, if you would like a mediumistic reading for whatever reason, then Claire, what's your website, or how can they get in contact with you?
Oh, they can get in you guys can get in contact with me through my Facebook page, Clare Hinks Medium on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as well, same, Clare Hinks Medium, all one word. I'm on WordPress, so it's just Clare Hinks Medium /WordPress. So just get in touch, drop me a line. I'm the same, I'm very responsive. You can message me, drop me an inbox message, and I can do you a reading online, on the phone, face to face, for yourself, for your friends. Yeah, whatever. Do card readings, you know me.
On that note, guys, we wish you a very farewell. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Take care. Love you all. Thank you, and goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.